that will be posting it online. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olayinka Thomas, and I am one of the lead trainer here at the Consultancy Group. I'll be taking us through this webinar this afternoon on Oliver McGowan Training Fund and also the training information as well. So we are right on time to start. And we'll be finishing around about 1 p.m., 2 p.m., depending if we have any questions or anything. So we are here to support you with any questions that you may have regarding the Oliver McGowan training. Just a bit about the organization. We are a training provider with our head office at Northamptonshire, and we have offices in London as well, where we support providers like yourself with training and learning and development for their staff members. So a bit of housekeeping. We're not expecting, because we're online, just to make sure that you are fine wherever you are joining us from this afternoon. However, we ask for everyone to please make sure that your device is on mute unless you want to ask questions, which would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Otherwise, you can also make use of the chat as well. So there is a chat icons just on your device that you'll be able to type in any questions or any suggestions that you have, but please just make sure that your device is on mute whilst we start. So our main objectives for this webinar is to make sure that you understand the requirement for Oliver McGowan training that is required, also to understand how the LDSS funding works as well, to know the March 2026 cutoff implications, also to avoid any common reimbursement mistakes, and then leave with the practical rollout plans as well for your organization. So we know that this is about protection of your training budgets and to make sure that you maximize the LDSS funding that is available for you. So why does this matter now? With the LDSS funding, it is becoming more competitive. You might have received email from the LDSS to say that they have unlimited ports and it's a first-time, first-served basis. And it's more scrutinized as well. So a lot of care providers are making mistakes on how to reimburse. Sometimes they're facing delays as well on the times that is available for them to reimburse. We've seen some providers that they've taken over 6 months for them to be able to claim back, and some have taken less than 2 weeks to claim back. So there is a lot of discrepancies that have been found from the organization that took 6 months for them to claim back. So this is what we'll be dealing with this afternoon. And also the funding is becoming more time sensitive as well. And sometimes providers miss out on late planning, incorrect claims, poor documentation, assumptions about eligibility. And so it is not about the compliance, it's of course on financial loss. And sometimes, you need the cash flow within your organization. So that's why we know that is very important. So I'm going to be sharing a poll now. If you please, what you need to do is just to click on the first questions, just the first question on the poll. If you can please type what you think about the poll. So I've launched the poll out. So if you can answer just the first question on the poll, just the first one on the poll, please. So where are you right now? That's what the poll says. So we have about 30 seconds to do that. So if we can, just answer the first poll. About 20 more seconds. We've seen some people answering it already. So if we can answer the first poll, that will be great. So we have 7 more seconds. 5, 7, 8, 2. Okay, so thank you very much. So from what we've shared so far, some people have answered the second one, which is fine. From what we've shared so far, majority 50% are currently the majority have completed, so they have some outstanding staff members, and 50% have shared that they are currently in the planning stage. Okay, fantastic. So you're in the right room then, as we'll be sharing some information, and we would also love to hear from you as well, something that has helped your organization that could help other people at this webinar. So what is Oliver McGowan Training? For some organization, it is something that they've heard of. Okay, brilliant, catering. That's fantastic. So for some individuals, it's something that they've heard of. They know about Oliver McGowan Training. It is a government mandated training on learning disabilities and autism for the people that are working within health and social care. I know even though we working within the health and social care, I've received a lot of feedback from the attendees of this training to say that it needs to be rolled out nationally because there are lots of key nuggets that are important for everyone living in communities to be aware of. That includes schools, retail, just name it. But at the moment, there is a funding available for the health and social care staff members. It was introduced following the tragic death of Oliver McGowan and is now a statutory requirement under the Health and Social Care Act. So we're going to be meeting our experts now. Either let me know if you are yes, okay. So we're going to be meeting our expert co-trainer. One of our expert co-trainer, her name is Either Bell, and she'll be sharing with us our experiences, why Oliver McGowan training is important. So I would hand over to Heather at the moment. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Heather, and I live in a house called Woodlands, which is under the company Keys. So I train both learning disability and autism. I got into this because of me having both, and that I find it important that it has an impact on not just us, but also the staff that are listening to it. For me, I want to get the message out that we are all different, but we all think differently. And it's not just about reading it. It's not just about looking at the tier 1 training. It's also about hearing from us what it's like to live with it and what changes can be made within your care setting. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Heather. And Heather is very passionate about it, as a matter of fact. She is very passionate about it. And when she's training with so much compassion, so much passion, and she wants it rolled out in all the society, as a matter of fact. So thank you very much, Heather. If you have any question for Heather later on, you'll be able to ask them just after we've shared the slide. Thank you, Heather. So governance and inspection impact. So some people are asking, is it important for me to have this training, and who amongst my staff members are actually eligible for it? So inspectors, for example, from what some of the clients that we've worked with and the feedback they've had during the recent inspections, they've stated that inspectors are increasingly asking them that, are you ensuring the staff understand LD and autism? And how you evidencing the compliance as well. So it could mean that they've completed the training, or you're in the process of completing the training. Again, they're asking, are you monitoring the mandatory uptake? So these are the questions that inspectors are increasingly asking care providers. Also, are you maximizing the funding that is available that will then lead to your governance maturity? The other one they're asking is, how, is a well-led providers plans ahead? For some providers, their staff members have not really completed the autism training yet. However, they know if you're in the planning stage, so that means that you're planning well ahead as a leader within the organizations, and which has increased the rating for providers, and also sort of put the trust back into a provider, because they know that they are being proactive and not being reactive as an organization. So what are the 5 most common claim mistakes that we've seen? Is that the 5 most common claim mistakes that we've seen is that sometimes it's incorrect learning eligibility. We'll be learning the different routes of, in claiming this Oliver McGowan training. So all the discussion that we'll be having today is based on the Oliver McGowan training. For other qualifications, that will be for other times. So what are the incorrect learning eligibility? So there are 2 ways to claim for the Oliver McGowan training. One is if you deliver the training internally within your organization, and the other type of claim is externally. So maybe you got a training organization to deliver the training for your staff members. So there are different ways and the different fundings available for you to claim back. The second common mistake is that missing attendance registers. So you've delivered the training for your staff members. However, you don't have the attendance sheet for this training. So sometimes is the missing attendance registers also for the training as well. So the third one that we've seen, the most common third one that we've seen is non-compliant delivery format. And what is this non-compliant delivery format? Is that you have delivered the training, so they've had the tier 1 training, or sometimes your staff have not completed the tier 1 training, which is the e-learning training through the NHS website, and then you've delivered the tier 2 training for them. So you have to follow the process. The second common mistake under the non-compliant is that you've delivered the training with one co-trainer or with one facilitating trainer. However, you need, which is correlated with the 4, you need to have, there are 2 sessions in the tier 2 trainings. The one session is you have an individuals with learning disability expert lived experience. And then this afternoon session, you need to co-deliver it with an individual with autism lived experience. So what the increasing mistakes we've seen is that sometimes is delivered by only the facilitating trainer, which is not what Oliver McGowan training is about. Oliver McGowan training needs to be delivered with 2 experts, one with learning disability and the second one is with autism. So, and then we see discrepancies in the company name. Sometimes organization register. So for example, I can have a company called Olayinka Thomas Limited, and I could be trading as Care for You Limited. So I registered my company on Companies House with Olayinka Thomas Limited. However, I'm trading as Care for You. So when you register your staff with a training company, maybe you register your staff under the Care for You. So the receipt and the invoices is issued under the name of Care for You. So we have seen that LDSS will reject the claim because as far as they're concerned, your organization is Olayinka Thomas Limited. So for organizations that face that they face that challenges, what we've is follow it up with a written letter when you're putting your claim in to let them know this is your company, this is what you are trading as. So because you're trading as Care for You Limited, remember that usually the bank account would have been opened with the name Olayinka Thomas Limited. So because the bank account is open with the Olayinka Thomas Limited, and you've registered your staff with Care for You, the receipt and the invoices has been issued in Care for You name, then there's no correlation there. So they will find discrepancies in the company name. So if you register your company with Olayinka Thomas, your bank account is Olayinka Thomas Limited, you have to tell the training company to also issue the invoices and the receipt in Olayinka Thomas Limited, not Care for You. So the company name has to correlate with what they have. Again, the last one and not the least is a late submission. So sometimes you've registered your staff, you put in the correct eligibility, you have the attendance sheet, you are compliant with the delivery format, you have your co-trainer evidence, you have the right company name. However, you've submitted too late. And in this case, with Oliver McGowan, the deadline for submission for claiming is on the 20th of March. So in order to avoid that, make sure that you put in your claim at least 2 days or so before, in case you have any corrections to make. You know, now it is editable. You can go on the LDSS website to edit the information that you have, unlike before, where they will reject all the claims and you have to re-enter it. Now you can edit the information. So I would advise to leave some time in place before the deadline when you're making your claim. So what is tier 1 versus tier 2? That is the most common questions as well. So the tier 1 is online. It creates a basic awareness, and all staff members should have this. Tier 1 is also divided into 2. The one you have an e-learning, which is on the NHS website, and it's free for everyone. So you have the link. We can share the link with you after the webinar. You have the link if your staff have not registered, and you share the link with your staff members, or you can register them. You can register your staff members and they will complete the course, which is e-learning. It has to be completed, otherwise it will not give them the certification. And it's for basic awareness about who Oliver McGowan is, what is Oliver McGowan, what is autism, what is learning disability. So it gives them a basic awareness of this. The second part of tier 1 is the one that they have online, which is about an hour. So they have an hour webinar online where it shares a lot of information again about tier 1 training, who Oliver McGowan is. Again, it's also a basic information. The second one is very interactive. That is a tier 2. The second one is interactive. It is live. So it is face-to-face, not live. It is face-to-face. So NHS has recommended that this has to be done face-to-face. And it's required for all staff that's providing direct care. Some people have asked, do they have to do it if we are not supporting anyone with learning disability? And the question is yes, because a lot of information there that I believe, that we believe, even Heather, that everyone's believed, the people that have attended the training believe that everyone should know about this, regardless of your job role. So it is very interactive. You will be hearing from the co-trainers, hearing about the lived experiences. We also have the slides that is being provided by the NHS that we follow as well, and is delivered by approved trainers. So if you go online, you will find a list of approved trainers with their approval number. Also, if you go online, you will also find the approved training organization. However, this has not been updated since the 13th of January. So it may not provide you with a full update of approved organization. However, whichever trainer that is coming to deliver for your staff, all you have to do is to ask them for the approval number, which you can also find on the NHS website. So the tier 2 must include a co-trainer with lived experience. That is very, very paramount. As a matter of fact, that is the only most important part of the training, because anyone can deliver training theoretically, but it's good to hear actually from the people with a lived experience, which has buttressed a lot of individuals' understanding based on the feedback that we've had. So with the learning disability, how does the funding structure work? So the Learning and Development Support Scheme reimburses eligible workforce training. So it is important to note that it is reimbursed based. That is, you ought to have paid for your staff members training and then you will claim back. So it's a reimbursement. It is evidence driven. So you may need evidence such as your receipt, your invoices, attendance, the trainer's approval number, approval details, all of that. And it also is a ring fest of OMMT. It was actually approved last year, November. Initially, it was not funded by the government, but it was approved. Now they've given a deadline of March 2026, 20th of March 2026 cutoff. So it is reimbursement and it's automatic approval. As long as you've shown, you can evidence that you've paid for your staff members and they've gone through all of the eligibility criteria. So how does this work? So how does the ring fest OMMT support works? So there are four course claim options for the Oliver trainings, which corresponds with both of the following. So depending on the tier that you've registered your staff for, remember there is a tier 1 and a tier 2, and the tier 1 has two parts. The tier 1 has two parts. So depending on the tier that you register them for, whether it has been procured outside of your organization externally or internally. So that would determine how much you can claim back. So one of the most common error is that perhaps you have procured the training externally and you're claiming back, and the claiming form you completed was for internal one. Or some people have procured the training internally and now they want to claim back for external funding because there are differences in the funding. So I'm going to show us in a moment. So the Oliver McGowan Mandatory Training Ports, it covers the eligible delivery cost. It has specific reimbursement rates. This requires compliant delivery model. It also requires correct documentation, and it's subject to national demand. So the port is not unlimited. So early planning will reduce risk for your organization. So the part 1, the in-house. So let's say you decided to deliver this training internally for your staff members. So when you deliver this training for your staff members internally, you can claim back. And one of the way you can claim back is that for tier 1, remember that the tier 1 has two parts. Part 1 of tier 1 is completely free. It's an e-learning. So all you need to do is to register on the NHS website, and then your staff members will be able to complete it. For the part 2, they need to have an online webinar, which is about an hour, okay? Depending on the co-trainers as well. So it's about an hour or so. So this is delivered, again, this can be delivered internally. So it could, you're one of your staff members or the learning and development manager or director may choose to do what we call the train the trainer. I'll be saying a few things about it later on. So when you have the train the trainer certification, you can deliver this training in-house to your staff members, and you're also eligible to claim back. So how much are you eligible to claim back? When you deliver the part 2 of tier 1, you can claim back £12.50 for each staff members. And when you deliver this in-house for tier 2, you can claim back £50 for each staff members. So this is when you've internally delivered the training. So maybe your head of training or learning or HR, they've decided to deliver, or maybe the registered manager, they've done what we call the tier train the trainer. But however, the train the trainer is in two parts. There are some people that are trained, they have the train the trainer on tier 1, does not mean you can do the tier 2. So you need to have train the trainer on tier 1 and train the trainer on tier 2. However, if your staff members has completed the tier 1 e-learning, they don't need to complete the tier 1 part 2 if you are going to complete the tier 2. So after the tier 1 e-learning, you can register them straight away for tier 2 face-to-face, which can be delivered within your organization. So invariably, it means that if you want to have a train the trainer certification, you don't need to do train the trainer for tier 1 and train the trainer for tier 2. So you can, once you complete the e-learning, you can do the train the trainer for tier 2, which will enable you to deliver the tier 2. So the tier 2 is more comprehensive, more than the tier 1 part 2. So I hope I'm able to explain that better. So that is when you internally deliver the training for your staff members. So the second part is when you procure the training externally. So this is when another social care organization, you register, you pay an external company to deliver the training for your staff members. Again, this is charged per staff. So for the tier 1, if you decided for them to do the tier 1 part 2, you can claim back £25 per person. If you decide to register your staff members for tier 2, then you can claim back £90, which is £40 more than what you will claim back internally. So again, depending on the number of staff members that you want to complete the tier 2, this again, once they've completed that e-learning, they don't need to complete the part 2 of tier 1. They can go straight away to tier 2, because tier 2 is much more comprehensive than part 2 of tier 1. So let's talk about the cutoff. What does it really mean? It is not just a training deadline. It means that the training must have been completed by this date that they've shared. Your evidence must have been collated by next month. Claims must have been submitted correctly, and processing time must also be considered. So that's what we say 24 hours or 48 hours before. Ensure that you've already put in the information on the system, ready to click on claim or send. So planning at this time is already risky. So if you're making decisions, you want your staff members to complete the course, now is the time for you to decide. We shared a poll earlier, so I'm going to open the poll again and see if I can. I'm going to relaunch it. So if you can just complete the question 2 of that poll, if you can just complete the question 2 on that poll, just in about 20 to 30 seconds. What is your biggest concern about OMMT funding? That's Oliver McGowan Mandatory Training funding. What is your main concern about it? Okay, so we have 100% here says that they are concerned about 100% says understanding eligibility. 50% have said finding compliant trainers. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to end the poll now just to share the results that we have. I hope you can see the result on the screen. So just for question 2, 100% says understanding eligibility, and then 50% says finding compliant trainers. Okay, so it's actually a big concern, because that's one of the questions that we've had, understanding the eligibility, and that is why we are having this webinar, and also finding compliant trainers, because everyone say, okay, I know I can train this. How do you find? And I've shared earlier, ask them because everyone has a PIN number, OMMT PIN number. So usually start with OMMT, and then you can verify this via NHS website. We also have to bear in mind that with the NHS website, they're not updating their website every day. So someone might have had the PIN, the OMMT PIN last week, and it might not have been updated this week. And one of the things the other people are doing as well is looking for organizations that are Skills for Care approved. As Dominion Consultancy, we are also quality assured by Skills for Care, and also we are also approved trainers on some of care providers, such as Ed for Share Care Providers Association. So we are one of the approved training companies. So those are the things that you could also check from the training company. So sometimes you could have financial exposure. So sometimes you have 45 staff members that you need to train, and you need to do the tier 2 delivery training. If you don't do it correctly, you may have to absorb the training internally. And then, of course, it would eat on the cash flow of the organization. It can impact on the budget and also reduce future training capacity. That's one of the things that some organizations have found out, and that's why people are doing it just before the cutoff deadline, which is next month. So what we can support you with, we deliver tier 2 training to your staff. We can deliver tier 2 training to your staff members. It is accredited. It is delivered by accredited trainers. So it also includes our co-trainer with lived experience. One of them is on the platform now, Edda. She has lived experience into learning disability and also in autism. Our training is fully compliant. We follow all the protocols, all the slides. We're not allowed to change anything on the slides that has been given to us by the NHS. And we also make sure that we follow the documentation guidelines. Is also provided for providers that train with us. We also help you to reduce internal admin burden that you may have within the organization. So this is best for small, medium providers. It is also limited internal training capacity. One of the organizations that we supported last week, they actually have over 45 staff members, including the registered manager, and we were actually contacted by the head of training, that training individuals, the person that supported with that training, and just that even though the organization says, oh, let's have the trainer, but looking at all the other responsibilities that she has, she said, no, I cannot deliver this. And most especially is also looking out for the right co-trainers to deliver the training with you. You have to think of, okay, do I have the co-trainer that has learning disability? When do I get the co-trainer that has autism as well? So you have to look at all the criteria by the NHS. So providers that want speed as well and certainty, and it's also for organization that is close to the deadline, then you want to procure the training externally with approved organization. Or you can also decide to have the trainer, which is a triple T. And so you can nominate one of your staff members. So as an organization, we are actually approved to either do the trainer and also do the one-to-one trainings for your staff for 1 day. So the trainer course is 2 days, and the other course is 1 day for your staff. So if you decide to do the trainer, you can nominate one of your internal staff members to become tier 2 trainers. So what they do is they will attend the tier 2 training program. They will also attend the tier 2 training program is also attended by the individuals with lived experience. That includes the individuals with learning disability and individuals with autism. They will also be part of the tier 2 train the trainer program. So we will provide the compliance briefing. We'll also co-deliver the requirements. So this is best for organization. Maybe you're a large provider that is needing training. You're a large provider with the training department separated, and you can afford to train your staff members. So it's also best for ongoing recruitment cycles, multi-site organization, and long-term internal L&D strategy. So if you have this in mind, or you are a large organization, you may decide to have the train the trainer certification. I remember that claiming back is different for each of this. So to claim back for tier 2 on internally procured training is £50. To claim back on externally procured training is £90 through the LDSS. So you can decide to choose either of these options depending on your organization needs as well. So what should you do now is for organizations that are planning your strategic workforce planning approach, identify who needs a tier 2. From our experience, everyone within an organization needs a tier 2, regardless if they're supporting individuals with autism or learning disability, because they go out, they meet individuals every day. It will broaden our knowledge on what learning disability and autism is actually about, and also it will show to CQC that you're being proactive within your organization. So anybody that has completed that tier 1, map out the delivery in cohorts. For some organizations that we support, they've shared the cohort within a month. So we have 3 cohorts in a month. So we first cohort at separate dates, and the last 2 cohorts in separate days, because of course you have to think of your staffings as well. And then confirm the trainer compliance, align the finance team early, prepare documentation before delivery. Prevention is definitely better than correction. And this also, it includes whether you are delivering the training internally or externally. So what are the financial comparison overview? So you can take a snapshot of this. We will share the link with you. I will share the link afterwards with you. However, you have to think about the upfront cost, the session based, and then the trainer. You need higher initial investment. So, for example, you need to pay for the trainer certification is much, it's like, of course, expensive than if you are procuring to an external organization. Long-term savings, it is lower. Higher if you have a high volume. You could be saving a lot if you have a high volume of staff members. Admin burden, if you procure it outside to an external organization, the admin burden on you will be lower because you don't have to start thinking about the certification, you don't have to start thinking about all the documentation, putting them together. For trainer, the admin burden is higher. Compliance risk is lower when you procure it to an external training provider. The compliance risk, of course, if you're doing it internally, if you're delivering it internally, then you must manage the compliance risk internally as well. Scalability, medium, if you procure it internally, externally, and it is also high when you procure it internally. Speed to rollout, of course, when you procure it externally, it is immediate. So you can contact an organization, fix a date, and you can procure it outside. Speed to roll it out for an internal trainer, it depends on the internal trainer readiness. Because bear in mind that they have to complete their own train the trainer first before they can train other staff members on their tier 2, or if you want to do tier 1. So what are the compliance risk reality? With the trainer, you must ensure that the core trainer with lived experience is present when you're delivering the training internally. Ensure that you follow the correct delivery format, correct content used. So when we deliver the trainer for your staff members, we'll also provide you with all the slides that you need, with all the workbooks as well that you need to share with your staff members if we deliver the training for you, if we deliver the trainer courses for you. So we'll provide you with all the documentation, including the slides. We'll provide it for you, but you have to make sure that you use it correctly. You have to ensure that you also attendance evidence is retained. You claims aligned with funding guidance. So if you are delivering it internally, the claim must be aligned and you're claiming for the right figure. So ask yourself now, as a care provider, how many of my staff need tier 2 training? Do we have that internal infrastructure to deliver the training internally? Do we have the admin capacity to manage the claims? Are we planning beyond March 2026? Are we comfortable managing compliance internally? If we answer mostly yes to all these questions, then your organization is ready to deliver the training internally. However, if most of your answers are no or maybe, then it is better for you to procure the training to an external training provider. So who should lead this internally? Sometimes, so not just training teams, the responsibility should sit across your registered manager, if you have HR or learning and development lead, your finance lead, compliance lead, senior director. So the role is cross-functional. Anyone within this role can lead the training internally. So you must bear that in mind as well. But if you are a smaller organization, most small organization, even up to 50 staff members, even up to 100, they are procuring the training externally because they don't have the capacity for to meet with the compliance that is required. So what are smart providers doing? They are booking the delivery early, batching staff strategically as well, assigning claim ownership, tracking the documentation live, and protecting their reimbursement timelines. So we've had some bookings from some care providers, and what they're trying to do is either they want to meet the deadlines and they want to ensure that their staff also that doesn't miss out on any of this training that is being funded by the government. So again, this is what they are doing. Making sure they're booking early, batching staff strategically, assigning claim ownership. So ask yourself, if funding closed tomorrow, would you be confident that you have secured your own allocation? If the answer is we are not sure, that means the organization needs a plan, and we are happy to support you with planning for your Oliver McGowan training. So I'm going to open the final poll checks. So if you please bear with me again, I'm going to relaunch the post, and this is on the third and fourth question. The third and fourth question. The number 3 and number 4 questions. So I'm going to relaunch, and we have about 30 seconds to answer it, please. So after today's session, how confident do you feel about securing OMMT fund? And the fourth one is, which route are you considering? So the external training, don't have any answer yet from the poll. I hope you can see, you can all see the poll. So we're asking the third and the fourth question. Can everyone see the poll? Okay, so from here, I can still see the people answering the number 2. So we're answering the number 3 and 4. 3 and 4, not 2 or 1. Okay, for some, oh, it's not allowing you to. I can see some here saying that number 3, yeah, okay. After today's session, how confident are you? Some are saying that somewhat confident, okay. And then the other person there also B, which is train the trainer. Okay. Okay, some people have been able to answer that question. No, thank you for that question. I'm going to end the poll now, and I can see some questions in the chat. I can see some questions in the chat. I'll be answering them shortly. I'll be answering your question, Priscilla, shortly. So this is a question and answer. So I'm encouraging you to ask funding questions, claim process clarity, delivery planning concern, and cohort size questions as well. So question and answer. I have a question in the chat by Priscilla. Good afternoon. Just to be sure, I want to know if there is a refund for the train the trainer tier 2. No, there is no refund for the train the trainer. So if you train one of your staff members for the train the trainer, you cannot claim back from the government. You can only claim back after you've completed the train the trainer course, and then you are now delivering it for your staff. For each staff members that you deliver to, you can claim back £50 on them. But the government are not funding the train the trainer. They're only funding the training directly to the staff, whether internally or externally. I hope that answers your questions. I don't know if anyone has any other questions for myself or Heather. We are still here. You're welcome. So which providers are offering training for tier 2? There are plenty of providers. If you allow me to, let me see, I don't think I have any more to share. Give me 1 second. I'm going to so for So as an organization, we support you with compliant train tier 2 delivery. So that is the 1-day delivery to your staff members. We also support you with train the trainer routes, if that's the route you want to go. We support you with documentation guidance as well. So the documentation that you will require to claim back from your organization. So even if we deliver the tier 2 train the trainer to you, we can also support you when you're claiming back for the training that you delivered internally to your staff. We also support you with workforce rollout planning and to make sure that you have inspection aligned strategy. So if you want to go ahead with any of the, we have some open days. We have one that is happening in London, 23rd and 24th, which is the train the trainer training. We have one on the 25th as well, which is the 1-day training. We have one that is happening in Northamptonshire, in Wellingborough precisely, on the 20th, next week Friday, 20th, which is the 1-day training for your staff members. So depending, and we also have train the trainer that is coming up in March as well. So if you want training for your staff members, whether it's the train the trainer course or the 1-day course for your staff members, please write to us at support@dominionconsultancy.com. So finally, leadership is about foresight, no reaction. Act early, claim correctly, and protect your training budget. So for some people that have asked as well, I will see if I can share some screen with you on the NHS website, or I can share the link with you actually. On the link, you will find a list of approved trainers. I'll see if I can share the link with you. I will actually share it. I'll share the link in the chat. I would also just open it slightly for you to see. So in the chat, you will find the link where you will find the list of approved trainers. In this chart, you'll find the list of approved trainers. I'll also share my screen with you. So there are loads of trainers that are approved, but just to buttress what I was sharing earlier, if you see on the screen, you will notice the trainer ID, right? On the first line, you will see the trainer ID. You will see the first, see, again, this was updated on the 16th of January, 2026. So if somebody was approved last week, you wouldn't find them here, but you can ask them for that trainer ID, okay? So you find the trainer ID, the first name of the trainer, the last name of the trainer. And this tells you which trainer and what they are approved to deliver. Remember that Tier 1 Part 2 is 1-hour webinar online. So some people, they are approved for Tier 1, they are not approved for Tier 2, such as this person on the second screen. We can see that this person is approved for Tier 1, but they are not approved for Tier 2 here. Whereas this first person highlighted here is approved for both, okay? And you can also see that this person is not approved for train the trainer. You see, you can see that this person is not approved for train the trainer. So they have different approvers depending on which one you want to deliver for your staff. So if this person comes and say, oh, I can deliver the train the trainer, no, they cannot because they are not approved. I'm going to scroll down because my last name starts with T, and then you would find me. I'm an approved, personally, I'm an approved trainer to deliver Tier 2 and the train the trainer. Let me go to T. I think I will find it maybe page 70. You will find my name. I can share my name with you. Find my name in page 70. and that is my name there. I hope you can see it on the screen. You find my name here, and this is my trainer ID. So my trainer ID is 253358. This is my name, and it tells you what I can deliver personally. So I can deliver the tier 2 one day, and I can deliver the train the trainer. So it's not many that can deliver the train the trainer, as you can see from here, just from this box alone. Out of 30 or so from this box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us, out of like 40 names that can deliver the train the trainer just from this line. So again, if you want to do the train the trainer, you have to make sure that the person is actually approved to deliver the train the trainer, not just the tier 2. We don't deliver the tier 2, we don't deliver the tier 1 part 2, because we know that if you want to complete the tier 2, then it's not necessary for you to complete the part 2, the 1 hour, because it's just an hour online compared to a full day training. So we went for the full day training, which is the ones that you can claim £90 back for. So as you can see, this is my name and this is my ID number. I hope that answers your question. I think it was Masvita that asked the question earlier. Yes, you can see, and yes, so you can see the list of names there and what we are approved for. Thank you. Do we have any other question? And any final thoughts from you, Heather? Whilst we wait for any final question before we end the webinar. Thank you very much for joining us, by the way. We really appreciate you taking out time this afternoon to join this webinar. Thank you very much for joining. Is there any final question? You can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's my name on the screen. Oh, it depends. So once, if you complete your train the trainer, you can also get your own trainer ID once you've completed the train the trainer. So you can get your own trainer ID. So that's when, after you've completed the train the trainer. So how it works is we deliver the 2 days training to you. When we deliver the 2 days training to you, let me stop sharing my screen so I can see. So we'll deliver the 2 days training to you. We'll also send your documentations that you've completed it. We'll send it to the NHS. So the NHS is the one that provides you with the training number. So, and it will show which training you can deliver. So when they're updating the list, the person's name will also appear on the list. So, but you don't have to wait for your name to appear on the list before you start delivering the training. However, you need to wait for your certification to be out before you deliver. So before you deliver, you need to have doing some short videos as well that will be sent to the expert with lived experience. And once they approve you as a trainer, then they can issue you with your trainer ID number. That is for the people that are completing the train the trainer. So if you're only completing it for your staff, the 1 day training, then the organization like ours or any training organization, they'll be able to deliver the training for your staff members. And also once they complete, once we follow all the criteria from the NHS, then your certifications will be issued for your staff members, and you can use that certification to make your claim through the LDSS website. I hope that answers your questions as well. Thank you, Miss Anne. Okay, brilliant. All right, so if there is no final thought from Heather, or if there's no questions, we'll be bringing the webinar to a close. Again, we have it in the chat. You can write to us at support@dominionconsultancy.com. You can also call us on 0330-174-9695. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding the Oliver McGowan training or any other health and social care training you may have, as we offer other courses as well. That includes MVQ from level 2 to 5 and short courses safeguarding medication, just to name a few. But you can call us at no obligations to you. if you need any further clarifications on your staff learning and development, I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye for now.